Call to order a regular meeting for the Normal Town Council for Monday, September 9th, 2022. Please call the roll.
Mayor Coos?
Here.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Here.
Mr. Nord? Ms. Smith? Here. Ms. Harris?
Here.
Mr. Preston?
Here.
Mr. McCarthy?
Here.
We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have public comment tonight. We have no public comment tonight. We'll go right into the omnibus agenda items considered routine and will be taken with one vote unless a council member would like to pull an item for discussion. And seeing no such request.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Items considered on the omnibus agenda tonight are approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of September 6th, 2022, approval of the minutes of the special council meeting of September 9th, 2022, a report to receive and file Town of Normal expenditures for payment as of September 14th, 2022, a resolution conditionally approving the final plat for the fourth edition to Blackstone Trails at the northeast corner of Hershey and Shepherd Road, and a resolution conditionally approving the final plat for the fifth edition to Blackbone Trails, same location. Please call the roll.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mayor Coos?
Aye. Those items are approved. We have two items of general orders tonight. The first is a resolution to award the bid for the Main Street Water Main Replacement Project to George Gildner Incorporated at a total cost of $3,942,980 and approve an associated budget adjustment.
Move approval.
Second.
Is there discussion on this? Do you?
If okay, I'll jump in and give the high level of conversation and then respond to questions. Typically, these sorts of agenda items you often find on consent. This particular item was placed on general orders because it is somewhat unique. It is significantly over budget, is what the bids came in as. We had two bidders. We have budgeted $2.54 million for this major water main replacement project along Main Street. We are recommending approval of the low bid, as Mayor indicated, and I believe we explained in significant detail in the council report why we are recommending moving forward despite our budget. And that is because the bids came in a little bit certainly higher than we anticipated for various reasons as outlined in the report. But we will, because a portion of this project falls within a TIF district of the main Osage TIF, we will eventually get some reimbursement for our investment in this project. And so we are recommending moving forward as bid. And this, if awarded, gives the contractor the ability to order the materials, which we think could take up to 12 months.
Thank you. Ms. Smith.
So she clarified some of the things we had been in discussion about, but I noticed in the numbers that the TIF funding actually added together with our budget item exceeds the total project. Could you clarify for the record which section of the project will be eligible for that TIF funding, and if there's excess, what happens to that excess in the TIF funding?
Sure. The TIF will generate, per our expectations, $1.9 million, which could be applied to this project. Any money in the TIF that we don't use for this project remains in the TIF and can be available for future public projects.
And on the graphic with the support papers, there's a break between streets where you're not putting the water main in. Could you give the history of that for those of us who weren't here when that earlier work was completed?
I'm going to ask you to take that offline, if you would, and visit, just for the sense of the project here, going back in the history, I think.
Well, in the work papers, they were making the point that they were wanting to get this work done to be ahead of any street resurfacing.
Right.
And I,
It's accurate, yes.
okay,
Correct. In the section, I guess I'll jump in, between Virginia and Hovey, has already been addressed. I'm looking at Mr. Burkhart.
That is correct. The section between Cullum and Virginia was replaced back in 2014. When IDOT replaced the bridge by Etchison Swamp Pool, we replaced that section of water main ahead of the bridge replacement. And then the section between Cullum and Hovey, the town installed that section new back in 2021.
and the road will be reduced in the number of lanes available, but drivers will not have to be detoured under alternate streets when the work is going on. Is that the plan?
Yes, our plan is to have one lane open at all times.
Okay, thank you.
Further on this item? Please call the roll.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. That resolution is approved. Item 8 is an ordinance rezoning property in the town of Normal having to do with 3 acres at the southeast corner of Parkside and Rab.
Move approval?
Second.
Is there discussion on this item? Please call the roll.
Ms. Harris?
Aye.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye. That item is approved. We have no new business tonight, no public comment. So before taking a motion for adjournment, we'll go to concerns. And I'm going to raise the first issue here tonight. I've talked to some of you about this issue in the past, and I think it's time for us to reevaluate what council concerns really are. Lately, we've been guilty of taking it to editorializing on political issues and revisiting issues that had been voted on. So I'll reach out to you with an email, and would you respond back to me individually, your preference? I'll have 2 or 3 options that I'm considering that would affect council comments. Other comments? Motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Preston?
Aye.
Mr. McCarthy?
Aye.
Mrs. Lorenz?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Ms. Harris?
Aye.
Mayor Kus?
Aye, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Let me turn this off.